Hello class, this is Mr. Vargas and I am here to introduce you to the next Scratch project. This project is called Around the World and there are three things that I want you to learn from this project. After you are done, I want you to be able to change the scene in a project so you can be in one environment and then be in another environment with different characters. I want you to know how to broadcast, which is a way of objects in Scratch being able to communicate with each other. And then I also want you guys to practice using the backpack tool, which allows you to copy code from one object to another. Most of our projects have been pretty simple, but as we get more advanced and eventually we're working to a final project that you guys are going to make, once we get to that, it would come in handy being able to copy long pieces of code. So those are the three main things I want you to learn how to do. Now, what is the project? The project is basically a character is going to appear, they're going to say something, and they're going to appear in an environment. They'll say where they are and what they like about it, and then then the scene's going to change. So that character in that environment will disappear, and then a new character and environment will appear. So the requirements are right here, but instead of going through these, I'm going to get started and I'll go back to them as I create this project. So I'm going to hit create and let's just name it so we don't forget. This is the Around the World project. And so as I mentioned, we're gonna have three things in our world. So three characters. So I'm gonna delete this cat and let's add three characters. So let's go with this bear and let's add this crab and I'll add this baseball player over here. So we have three characters. I'm gonna start them all out invisible, just because I want you to, just to recognize that you can make characters invisible. They still are there, they're just not visible, and you can do that by toggling this button over here that says show. So over here you make things visible, over here you make things invisible. All right, so we've added our three characters, made them invisible. Now let's work on our background. So we want three backgrounds. We want one for the bear. So the bear is going to be in a forest. And I'm going to add two more backgrounds. Now, before I do that, I just want to explain something. So you notice when I have this selected, right, stage. When I have stage selected, notice this tab. It says backdrops. When you have a character selected, it says costumes. So characters can have multiple costumes and the stage can have multiple backdrops. So right now we have the forest. I'm gonna add my other backgrounds. I'm gonna do it over here. So I'm gonna do, for the fish, we're gonna do underwater. And for the baseball player, I'm gonna do a baseball field. So we have three backgrounds. All right, now I'm gonna go back to my bear and I'm gonna start coding this. So I'm gonna hit code over here. And what do we want to happen? When the green flag is clicked, I want the bear to appear. So we're going to go under looks and over here show. So we're going to make the bear appear. We also want the background to get set to the forest background. So we're going to do switch backdrop. That's also under look. Switch backdrop to forest. And notice how when you add backdrops, they just appear in this drop down. So you don't have to remember what they were named. All right, so we're making the bear show up. We're switching to the forest, and then we're gonna have the bear say something. Now, I was originally gonna make you guys, so that's under looks, and I'm gonna do for. Make sure you do the one that says for 2 seconds, because this one, I don't even know why they have this in there. Honestly, it's gonna say hello, and instantly disappear. And computers are so fast that you basically are not gonna see it say hello. It's just it's gonna feel like it did nothing, but it is doing it. It's just so fast. Actually, let me do that after the show forest. So we're gonna have the bear say, "Hi, I'm a bear and I live in the forest." Then we're gonna make the bear say, I love the forest because there are berries. All right. So after the bear says that, now I want to switch to another scene. So I'm going to make the bear hide. So again, that's under looks and then hide. You know what? Let's test our project. Hi, I'm a bear and I live in the forest. I love the forest because there are berries. And then it disappears. All right. But, we don't want to stay in the forest scene anymore. We want to go under the ocean. And there are a lot of ways to do this. But the way I want you to implement this is using something called broadcast. So if you go under control, there is oh no, it's actually under events. Under events, there is a block called broadcast. So we're going to do a broadcast block and we're going to change the message. And the message is going to be crab's turn. So what broadcast basically does is this message gets sent to every object in the game. And you can decide for objects to do something when they receive a specific message. So this allows different objects to communicate. So for example, if you were making a game and it had a score, you can have one object called the score object, and then you can have an enemy, and when the enemy gets shot, you can tell score to increase. You could broadcast increase, and when score receives increase, it'll make the score go up. So that's one example of how you could use it. All right, so we're gonna broadcast crab's turn. That means crab is receiving a message called crab's turn, and batter is receiving a message called crab's turn. And honestly, bear is also receiving a message called crab's turn. Everybody's receiving a message called crab's turn, but they do nothing when they receive that message unless you add this block. When I receive crab's turn. So when the crab receives crab's turn, we're going to make the crab show up, right? Because it's currently invisible. So we're going to add a show block. We're going to switch backgrounds. So we're going to switch to the underwater scene. And let's test this out. Hey, I'm a bear. I live in the forest. I love the forest because there are berries. And then we get to our crab. Now we're going to make the crab say, I'm a crab and I live under the sea. And then we'll make him say, I love it here. I love it here because Ariel is my best friend. That's a Little Mermaid reference if you don't know. So that's what the crab's gonna say. And now we want to switch over to the batter, to the baseball batter. So what do we want to happen? We're gonna make the crab hide. And just like we did for the bear, we're going to broadcast, that's under events, broadcast, new message, baseball. All right, or what you can call it whatever you want, but I'll just call it baseball. All right, now you might have noticed something, right? When well, you know what? I want to show you something else. I'm gonna hit the green flag. Hey, look at this, the crab. The crab is there. He's not supposed to be there in the beginning. So whenever you hit the green flag, you want the crab to hide itself. So let's just add that code real quick. When the green flag is clicked, we're going to make the crab hide itself. All right, so let's run it again. All right, so now it started off right. And then we get to the crab. That looks good. He hides, but we need to do the code for the batter. Now, don't worry, you're not going to have to watch me construct this all over again, because if you notice, this code and this code are very similar. And Scratch allows you, because this is a very common in programming, to have a very similar code in multiple objects. There's this thing down here called a backpack. And I have some stuff here. Let me remove this from previous projects. And that's actually a nice, I should mention that actually. If you copy code from one project, a completely different project, it stays in your backpack. So you can actually make a game and then make another, like drag code down here and then start a completely new project, and that code is available to you. But anyways, my main point was that since these have similar code, she's going to also have this similar code that's going to basically do the same thing. It's going to make her appear. It's going to switch the background, and she's going to say something, and then it's going to actually she doesn't need to broadcast. She's the last one in the chain, so but it's going to be similar. And she also should have this code because after she appears, she's going to just stay. She's going to just stay there. So we want her to just hide whenever you hit the green flag. So we're going to drag both of these codes down to the backpack, and then we're going to switch over to the batter. And now we're going to drag the code into the batter. So if you notice, I'm inside of the batter now. And when the green flag is clicked, we're going to tell her to hide, okay? And then over here, we have this code. Now this is going to require a little bit of tinkering, right? When I receive Crab's turn, remember, she appears when baseball is broadcast. So it's going to say when I receive baseball. So when the batter receives baseball, we want her to show. We want to switch the backdrop to baseball, and we want her to say, "I'm a baseball player, and I live on the baseball field." I love it here because baseball is life. All right, and then she's gonna hide, and I don't think we need this broadcast here. So let's test our project. Green flag. We start out in our first scene with the bear. He says why he loves the forest. Then we switch to the crab. The crab tells you why they love the sea, and then we switch to the baseball player. And then the project is done right here. And even though we're on a baseball field, whenever you hit the green flag, it goes back to the forest. So that's pretty much it. So if you notice my requirements, I want you to have 3 characters, 3 backdrops. The characters appear one by one and they talk, so they shouldn't all be there at the same time. The correct background appears behind each character, and when you hit the green flag, the project sets up correctly. So hit the green flag, the first character appears, and the first background appears. And don't do different characters. Don't just do the exact same thing as I did. It really won't change it much, and I don't really want to see this project over and over again. All right, so good luck with this, and have a good week. If you have any questions, let me know.